Attention, Internet people. This transmission may contain cold drafts, open tabs, and questions nobody asked for. Well, we did. It's Thursday night. Grab your drink, grab your popcorn and your tinfoil hat. Porch light low, tabs open. Tonight, we go looking for trouble. 9 o'clock, the screens come alive. Poured a cheap drink, hat pulled low. Popcorn ready, tabs all lined. Crypto bros chasing every crooked flow. Names stay blurred, dates don't sit. One odd clue leads to another bit. What came first? Who moved the piece? Who said trust me and who said please? Rumors spin, most of it smoke. Some stuff lands, some is just a joke. Before we say what we think we know, follow the thread, down we go. Don't trust every ping you get. Don't mute the part that feels off yet. Bring the receipts, bring the screenshots, bring the half-baked theories. Leave the answer to the chat, to you and me. Hat on after dark, screen glow. Grab your cup, grab your popcorn. We're back for the weird little show. 9 p.m. Thursday night. Follow the signal, don't let go.
Tinfoil Thursday.
What did you notice? After dark. Yeah, we're asking questions. Facts on the table, theories on the wall. Crypto bros asking, what if there's more to it all? Who's Satoshi? Where'd he go? $1 million mystery nobody wants to know. One person, 10, some offshore crew, or just a legend that the internet grew. Old files open, weird tab flash, AI talking faster than a human can think. Bug, prank, something real, or 10 hours online and a stack of bad deals. Maps and folders, coded lines, little breadcrumbs buried in the noise. Private servers, hidden rooms, tough folks where they caught in their own Zoom. Slow down, where's the actual proof? Let's open it up.
Henry, you're muted.
Extended version by accident. Sorry about that, guys. Once I realized, I was like, why is this going on so long? Oh, we lost XRP Dad. Oh, no. That's okay. I'm sure he wanted us to continue. So, once again, welcome to another Conspiracy Theory Friday, or Conspiracy Theory Thursday. Sorry, guys. I have been doing a lot of traveling and a lot of go going. And XRP Dad is back with us. So, welcome to another Tinfoil Thursday with my wonderful co-host as always, and a special guest tonight, a pretty face with a beautiful mind in the space, wonderful in the conspiracy theories. One of the things that, when I first met her, this is one of the things we went over, even though we were in the crypto space, and sometimes this kind of leads into conspiracy theories. But with no further ado, Brooke Odyssey, please come in and introduce yourself.
Hi, guys. Crypto bros. Thank you for having a crypto sister on, and I appreciate it.
Crypto sisters.
Do what?
Thank you for taking your time to come on here with us and chat.
Oh, I love to talk conspiracy. So let's go. I'm more known on the TikTok space. And back in the day, like 4 years ago, back in the day, a bunch of us used to have a conspiracy night, and it was one of my favorite times. So I'm excited to dive into some rabbit holes, if you will. And I have my tinfoil crown on. So, and it's rather high. And like I say, the higher the crown, the closer to God. And desperate times calls for desperate measures. So we're here.
I gotta give credit. I gotta give credit to our special guest for the tinfoil hat. That's fucking awesome. Awesome. I also want to acknowledge that XRP Dad has done the tinfoil hat. We couldn't get him in the first one, but somehow Brooke's influence has passed over to XRP Dad, and he has shined his head. And thank you so much.
Sprinkling my magic where I can.
It goes good. I like it.
Now you're
Which we
official,
are
Daddy.
talking
Now you're
about the Federal Reserve tonight. And I always like to say fiat money is, well, your money is propped up by faith, hope, and trust. And like I like to say, a whole heck of a lot of pixie dust. So,
Yep. And that.
Brooke has an amazing thesis that she's going to share, at least some with us tonight. I imagine that there is not enough time to break it all down. I've been down a few rabbit holes that I couldn't tell you within an hour.
yes. So, I mean, when you're talking about elites and families that rule the world and truly rule the system, there's so many avenues that you can really go because it touches so much. And whenever we talk conspiracy theory, it's much less a conspiracy theory, and as you know, you hear in the space now, it's becoming conspiracy fact. And so I find that it's kind like it's not even almost scary. Let's be real. Some of this is kind of scary because uh I'm new to the conspiracy space, like hook, line, sinker. 2020 got the, no one's out to get us. And so it's been a very rude awakening call. And the further you dig down these holes, you realize that there's truth is always stranger than fiction. And so I found that even some of the conspiracy theories that like aren't true, like aren't even the tip of the iceberg of some of this. So yeah, and this feeds into actually where we're at now in the geopolitical and macroeconomic space, and history and historical events that have conspiracy tied around them all tie around this topic because it ties around the topic of money. And money literally touches every corner of our lives. And so naturally, and I also bring in, biblical principles because scripture's very clear. It talks about how the debtor is always slave to the lender. And so I like to tell people when your money is derived off of debt and they can print it away and you go out into the workforce and you spend your energy and they're on the other end of it just siphoning it out, faster than you can make it. Of course there's going to be social issues. This has the French Revolution ran all over it. Marie Antoinette, want to talk about old time conspiracy. Marie Antoinette probably did not say, let them eat cake. That was a rumor probably started by very discouraged village people because the rich were getting richer and the poor were getting poorer. And history shows us that that's whenever farmers with pitchforks start to storm a castle. So that's kind of where we are historically. And that all centers around money and debt, and then the people who control the system of debt, the puppet masters, if you will. And this gets into a topic that I'm very passionate about because then we have these highly educated idiots in universities teaching these young whippersnappers, including me when I was in university, that capitalism is evil, globalism is great, and what we have today is not capitalism. And so I'm very passionate about talking about, yes, conspiracy theory, but also layering in enough education for people to really kind of grasp where they're at right now, and realize that you're living through one of these historical periods of time and much conspiracy. Conspiracy is people who like a group of people who get together and derive a plan. And with a bunch of these files coming out, now that is less conspiracy, and now we actually can know and follow the money and even people that take us down this matrix. So
Oh, this is going to be a fun conversation.
So where do you think we're going? And I want to ask, where do you think we're heading biblically with all this?
where do you think we're headed with what?
Biblically.
Oh, biblically. Okay. So this gets very interesting. And this also ties into money and cryptocurrency. Okay. So if you go back to the Tower of Babel, and it's like a paragraph in Genesis. And it doesn't take long to read about that story. And a group of people were essentially coming together and they were building this tower to become equal with God. Well, we learn in the story that it says that they are using a new way of making bricks out of like more. So that's a new technology. We think of today technology as, you know, digital stuff, but architecture and building material and how you build that, it can also be an evolution of technology. So they had this new way of building bricks and building structures. And it said that God looked down upon them and said, if they can speak the same language, they will be capable of anything. So he confused their language and scattered them across the face of the planet. Well, if you look at what science and technology is trying to do, and blockchain and crypto, what it does is it takes siloed systems, it takes different currencies that quote unquote speak different languages, and it allows them to not necessarily speak the same language, but to become what's called interoperable. That now we can transact, we can communicate across these once siloed lines. And so if you think about money as a language, America speaks the dollar, the UK speaks the pound, the euro, United Nations speaks the euro, the Japanese speaks the yen, and it's having some problems. And so all of these different currencies can now function and translate together, which makes this time in history and monetary history very interesting, because the power and how we have it today is based off of the fact that we have something called the petrodollar and the euro dollar system. And so that is really much of the world. And this happened after 1971 and Nixon took us off the gold standard. Our currency was in one of these shifting debacles, monetary shifts. And so we actually had Kissinger going to the UAE. You've heard the UAE in the news recently. And so that Kissinger made a deal with the Saudis that the oil that was sold would be sold and bought in the US dollar, making the US dollar in demand. As well as now most countries have what's called dollar debt demand. And that just means that they borrow and transact in the dollar. And so they have to pay back in dollars this debt. And so as you see currencies crumble, we have the yen coming here. And so this gets into what a bunch of people in the space know Jay Claver, and they know his domino theory. That is I had a similar theory that it's fun because when you're in the space and you see other people that like are on the same wavelength as you, and you like hear it and you're like, oh, okay, so I'm not the only one going down that track. And to give credit where credit's due, there's a fabulous macroeconomist named Michael Gaid, and he is brilliant. And he's the one that he's probably the originator of the theory of the yen reverse carry trade. And I've listened to him for years. So whenever he was explaining the yen reverse carry trade as an XRP holder, I understand how integrated they are with SBI, how integrated they are with the Bank of Japan. And as a monetary historian, I understand the juggernaut and the way that the US uses Japan monetarily, and really the rest of the world uses it. Since World War II, strategically, monetarily, Japan has been used. And so, want to talk conspiracy? This is where I'm like, oh, I definitely think that the financial crisis is going to start in Japan, not only because of the yen reverse carry trade, but they used to have, was he the prime minister? He's either the prime minister or like the equivalent of the head of the Bank of Japan. And there's monetary theories attributed to this man. Well, he wasn't even in like the realms anymore. He had retired from this work, but he was assassinated and a few years ago, before a lot of this kicked off. And so another very interesting conspiracy theory around the monetary system and Japan is to dig into. Ian Carroll does a fabulous podcast over the moon cult and the moon children there. So yeah, this goes deep. So anyway, I think that this financial crisis, I think in 2008, during that financial crisis, they knew our financial system they knew it died then, essentially, and that ultimately all fiat currencies die, and they die in very similar ways. And so that is why I think in 2009, we get the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper coming out talking about why we need a better form of money, and what better people that would so if this was a conspiracy, and let's just say I am these people, and let's be real, a lot of people, and I don't mean this mean, but a lot of people are dumb. And so there's a part of this education that I understand why you need to control some people, but I don't agree with it. Bad boys and women.
Bad boy, bad boy. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Controlling the nations. Why are you controlling the paupers?
It is. It's so bad. Oh no, I lost the rabbit hole I was down. I was talking about
You're talking
the
about Satoshi.
moon people, and
You're talking about Satoshi and creating white paper.
And you called him a bad boy.
oh, Satoshi. We were at Satoshi. So and then who best? Like, who would be the first people who wouldn't want a digital system? It's your freedom, sovereignty loving people. So why not get those people onto a digital type of system, guised as something sovereign first? Like, I can totally see this. Yeah. And we found that all through Bitcoin, as Stellar and Ripple were mentioned in the files about we can't have more than one of these. It's not good to have more than one in this horse race. So I know I jumped over like a few hundred years, but the red string goes deep. So that's where we're at. We're in one of these shifts, and you know what I think the elite live by: never let a good crisis go to waste. And so through this is where on the other end they and this is a personal opinion that I've had for a long time. They will get us to a point with inflation and the cost of living, and with AI coming in and taking jobs, that we will possibly be begging for UBI, universal basic income, and then we go into programmable money. Programmable money, like, we're in the crypto blockchain space. monetarily, and then just knowing history and understanding tyrants. We have to also understand that this technology is a technology that dictators of our past would have dreamed of. Very fun dreams. So, and when I say fun, not so fun. And so we really need to understand that. And I mean, we have flock cameras coming out. I don't know what your communities are going through, but a lot of ours flock cameras are on the table, and a lot of city councils and people are, getting loaded out of their council meetings in handcuffs, standing up against their government. AI data centers going in. And how does this all go together? And this is why I've been trying to tell people who told me I'm a crazy tinfoil hat wearing person. This
But
is
you're in the
where,
right,
yeah,
you're in the
exactly.
right
I'm
place.
among my people. So I told them, I said, okay, blockchain, crypto, like blockchain follows the money, crypto exchanges the value, but it's also programmable money. So let's put this all together, and a few conspiracy agendas out there. Um, we need to save the climate. Yada yada. We can't because of cow flatulates, and so we need to limit your beef intake. Okay, well, now I have a digital ID. And so now when I go to the store and I go to my checkout aisle and I scan my beef, it's like, oh, this is Brooke. Oh no, she's reached her allotted amount of beef purchases for this week. And it doesn't matter if I have $1 million in the bank, my money can be programmed not to work at that point. And I'll think about, oh, I saw you through my little flock camera. Daddy saw you walking across the street, not across this crosswalk. You are jaywalking, and we can tell it's you through your digital ID, through the AI camera system, stored in the AI data center. And now your social credit score, we're going to ding that too. So good luck if you ever want to leave this place and buy a ticket, because we can program your money not to work for that too. Let's not even talk about the 15-minute cities that you're going to use for that as well. And so I'm like, you jaywalk, so you get, and then your ticket, you're fined. That comes out 3 seconds. You jaywalked, it's judge, jury, and
China,
executioner.
it's already happening. You can't ride trains if you mess up. And like I said, you're gonna eat the bugs, and you are gonna like it.
It,
You jaywalk, so you don't get to have the burger. You must eat the bugs.
you have to eat some bugs, save the planet. And I like, and so I truly, this isn't something I just talk about either. This is something that my family, we truly like breathe, live, sleep, and literally eat. So in 2018, I understand fiat currency. I understand inflation and food inflation, and I'm a big studier, and my passion kind of centers around the Great Depression era. And I grew up in Kansas, Southwest Kansas, uh, as no in the middle of nowhere. And so my elders were people who survived the Dust Bowl, and that part of Kansas was like the bullseye, like the worst of the worst. And those people, those farmers had nothing. And so the stories that I grew up with, though, through this, they would talk about how, they didn't have a lot, but they had enough, and they shared amongst each other. And so I was sitting at a funeral of one of these older people a few years ago, and he talked about how, as a boy, this man's talking at this other man's funeral, as a boy, he would walk across the street in exchange, he would be the person in between. And I found myself sitting at that funeral like, yes, those were really, really hard times, and our times are quote unquote easier now. But think about how divided we are. Think about how I think one of the biggest epidemics, and one of the things that the elite have done to us the most on purpose, is made people feel lonely and not divine. And they've eliminated like our divine humanity so that we treat each other awful. And we don't even see how special it is. And so the reality of that just it filters down. So anyway, I started we started a homestead, and in my brain I'm like, if it were to get bad, like how cool would it be to be a blessing to my community just like that? And fortunately, but unfortunately, that has come that vision has now come reality in a sad way, but also like you kind of a good way. Like I had that feeling, and I could have known that in 2020 we would have had the pandemic, and we would have we would have printed as much money. We printed 80% of the existing money within a 2-year time, and we printed 40% of money that had ever been printed. So I'm like, oh, of course, we're going to have food inflation. And I was on TikTok 5, 6 years ago telling people, I tell people, I do give financial advice. I say, buy a chicken. And no joke, people troll.
Probably good advice.
You can't go wrong buying a chicken. I mean, how much you gonna let it lose? $25. I'll give you the
They
money.
literally,
This is
they
one y'all
poop
take.
out.
If you
They
lose the
poop
25,
out food.
I'll give it to you.
They literally poop out food. And like now, the eggs, my ROI, like let's talk about some investing. Like I'm gonna kind of pop my
Yeah.
collar and go like, egg ROI, that return on investment. Like you can buy a chicken cheap, and then the price of eggs. But you know what's awesome is I don't charge people for eggs. What's fun is to supplement people's groceries, so maybe they have a little bit extra at the store. Giving them, we raise our own beef and pig, and so we've had people who have lost their jobs that, I'm like, here's some meat, like let's, at least, I can do something in this time. And I encourage people, and I've been encouraging people for years, do something and get a network of people who have other talents and do other things. You might not be able to raise a cow, but you might be able to have a few chickens and exchange some eggs, or you might be able to grow a garden. I am not a gardener. Everyone, whenever I say I have a homestead, they think I have a garden, like by default. And I'm like, no. And in fact, if you're an employer and someone has on their like hobbies, I'm a gardener, you know that they are reliable. That's like, that is hard work. And
Crazy.
so, but yeah, so I know people who garden, that in that I know I can have fresh fruit and vegetables, they can have meat, and my family will be fed, but I can also feed other people. And think about, if enough people did that in this financial crisis, it might not have to be as big of a crisis, and it could be more of a healing type of time.
Well, if we
Do you
wouldn't
think-
give up our farms in the 30s, we'd be a hell of a lot better off than we are now. I bring it up every once in a while about Green Acres, the show. At the end of the show, it actually talks about how they were moving people into the cities and buying the farms. And that was a real thing. Like, they were giving people subsidies and moving to the cities because, I don't know what, I think the name of it's Rat Pack or something. There's a name of a experiment with rats. And it's an eviction experiment, but it's also kind of like a city experiment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because there's limited resources and there's certain things they want. They could, and it's a really, I'll have to look it up later and maybe post it in the comments. But it's very interesting to see that once you take away the rat's ability to basically mate for themselves, which is basically what happened to us, then you cause this chaos. You make them turn against each other. You make them take from each other. You make them into these degenerates because they can't take care of themselves. They gotta basically give themselves up to the system, become a slave of the system.
Well, then, and how do we
I'm sorry,
enslave?
everybody keeps playing hopping around.
You guys couldn't hear me. You guys couldn't hear me, so I left for a minute.
Y'all stay here. Don't go away.
I was gonna say, Brooke, there's a
Yeah.
movie You're talking about the swiping like of the face. Oh, you jaywalked. There's a movie about that. I can't remember what the movie's called,
It's a
but there's a movie.
show. There's an episode on Black Mirror.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, Black Mirror, like I had to stop watching it because I'm like, my brain can map. Like I'm too much of a visionary to be like, oh no, oh no. Like
Well,
I
it's
don't
actually
need any
happening.
inspiration.
I mean, but when it's actually happening in China, it's not even science fiction anymore. It's like, oh, they made a show about what's happening in Hong Kong. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, and then people, you say that. Okay. So, and this isn't to dog people in my life. Like I understand like they have us on a rat race, this will, so that people don't see it. And so I give grace whenever I say this next thing because I love this person. And I'm talking to her, and this is very normal, normie, and we're out camping. And she's a professor at a university, and she's a doctor
oh,
in biology. And so I asked, I was like, so, what are you thinking about like the chip implants that, Elon Musk is doing? And she goes, what? And I'm like, I literally am just like, and then I'm just going, I out loud, I said, oh my word. I know why you guys look at me like I literally walk in with one of these things because that's basic level, not conspiracy, current event, and biological, meaning digital. And you work at a university, a very decent one at that. Like, we're not talking community college. So not that community college is bad, but I'm just saying, like,
no, we heard you loud and clear. I got
it's
a
not, it's a
question for you.
prestigious college. It's a prestigious college. And I'm just like, okay. So, like, of course they thought I was crazy when I said they're building a digital tyrannical infrastructure. And this is how bad it is. My kid, so my daughter came in and she's like, she was getting eaten up by mosquitoes. And she goes, Mom, does the government release mosquitoes because they're so big and they're eating me up? And I'm like, no, but I know that Google recently released the genetically modified mosquitoes. Maybe it's one of them.
My mom's gonna die. Let me ask you a question though, real quick. Because it seems like I put stuff together as well. I got a question for you. You was talking about the Tower of Babylon earlier, right?
Yeah.
When you was talking about God's problem with it, and the problem with it is that everybody was speaking the same language. Now we didn't come into the understanding of why everybody spoke the same language. All we understood is that they spoke the same language. So there had to be a teacher of this language that was a universal teacher of language. Now we could go to universities, we have professors who have teachers, but we also look at right now we have the AI age. Now with the AI age, we're living in an age that it don't fucking matter who you are. You can be Oogie Boogie and you can talk to AI and it damn near knows what you're saying. I mean, any language, anything, it knows how to talk. Ancient Sumerian, it fucking knows how to talk to you. So at this point, is that not the Tower of Babel? Is that not the one that speaks to all and not only speaks to all, teaches all, and not only teaches all, but tells you what to think?
Well, and then think about this idea of intelligence. And Catherine, her name is Catherine Fitz. She had an interview, fabulous woman, monetary genius. She was on the Tucker Carlson show and she's been on very major podcasts. She got her origin. She worked in the Bush and I think possibly Obama administration, but I know at least the Bush administration during part of the financial crisis. She was head over HUD and she helped write a lot of the regulations coming out of that crisis. So brilliant, top of her game, been to the higher echelons of this network. And she's in this interview, she's talking about AI, and she said, well, I'm a Christian and I believe that there is an evil intelligence and a good intelligence, and the evil intelligence is influencing these people. And another podcast I was listening to, it was talking about how human, Okay, this gets into the mark of the beast. And just so you know, this is my sect of like faith does not subscribe to this. So I'm like the opposite of jump. This has been a hard conclusion for me to come to about this. Because we were very like literal and it's just going to end in a blink of an eye. Nothing, no signs, nothing, none of that. That's my bias, okay? And now I'm just like looking at current events, like the earthquakes, that this, the basically watching the beast system be built in front of my eyes, you know. So, it's just like all of this all happening together. Oh, and we have to go out and see the lunar eclipse. That's happening like soon, and you guys should have a full, like, dusk. We get a full lunar eclipse right now. That is a sign of time of
It's
death
not
and
here. It's happening at
Do
dusk.
you think
Oh, sorry. I like looked out my window. I was like, it might be happening now. So the moon should be a really cool color tonight. Which anciently that actually has symbolized like death and recreation and transition, and so fascinating. But so humans on the periodic table, we have 6 carbon, we have 6 or sorry, 6 carbon, we have 6 protons, 6 neutrons. We're carbon based creatures. And so it says the mark of the number is 666. So this is an interesting like thought that I have. Okay. So these AI and tech creators are talking about living forever via their system of living forever. And we have a whole education system that teaches us we, come from monkeys and there's nothing special about this human suit. And now we have possibly a man-made escape hatch to escape death. So where are you going to put your faith in? Man's creation of a 6, like, is that, like, is a car, yeah. So I'm like, is that? I'm like looking over here going, and so I'm having conversations with my kids. We stay 100% human. We don't get chip implants.
Well, they've come to the conclusion that your DNA can be linked across vast amounts of distance and space, and
We're
so
antennas. Yeah.
yeah, and
We're
so if
literally
touches your DNA here, your DNA somehow gets a signal wherever the hell it's at. It can be, I mean, in buildings hundreds of miles away, they found out that it'll get a signal somehow.
not
And
us. This blocks the signal.
For
You
now.
realize that this is what that theory aligns to, right? That our DNA is a literal like antenna signal to the cosmos, and what we do and how we our energy, and like nothing is separate, all is one. And I
I
can
thought
actually
it was aliens from eating our brains. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was
the
like
alien.
aliens eating our brains. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I got a question.
No, we have aliens. Aliens are even in our headlines. Come on.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
now that's
what a crazy life we live. I'm sorry, XRP Dad. Seems like you got something exciting to say.
Yeah, they're about like these aliens, because aliens is a hot topic, and it goes.
oh, I can't hear him. Can anyone else hear him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear him.
I
You
can't
can't?
hear him. Mm-mm.
I don't know.
Here, let me try to sign out again for her.
No, well, hold up, Brooke. On your thing, does it show his thing muted? His mic muted?
No. So
Okay.
I'm sorry if people have tried to talk. And I'm like,
No, I think it was just him. Try again,
okay.
XRP Dad.
Yo.
Yeah, we can hear him.
We can hear him. I don't think she
I can hear you now.
Nice.
Oh wait. Nope, can't. That
No,
was
she
you.
was
I
just,
can't see your lips moving.
He'll come, yeah, just jump out and jump back in. I just got on to everybody for jumping in and out. And I'm
Oh,
like,
now I can't hear you.
Oh, what?
Oh,
Can you hear
no.
me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Weird. Okay, I will hop back out and I'll hop back in.
Oh, we've lost Brooke. But yeah, she's a ball of energy. Eh? She's got lots of
Yeah.
knowledge on it. I like the direction that it's going. It's crazy the things that she is saying because that's all the stuff that we've been talking about too, on the side, not like on our show. We've kind
Yeah,
of
no,
today.
she's a ball of energy and a wealth of knowledge for sure.
You hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, she definitely. That's how I am, dude. You guys say pick a topic. I'm like, dude, our whole world's a conspiracy, bro. Turn on the news. It's probably AI.
What is harp? Harp is that's why we wear this motherfucker right here. It's because of harp.
Time machine, bro.
I don't want anyone getting my DNA, so I'm wearing my hat all the time.
Yeah, she was talking about the antenna, and I'd never heard the antenna. I mean, I understood what she was saying, but I always thought this was for aliens. I didn't know. I thought this was an alien thing. You learn something new every day. Where'd she go?
But yeah, like it's crazy. The one thing that I was gonna say though is she was talking about like raising your own cattle and stuff. Like if you like raising the cow is easy, and if you have a cow and you get it butchered, right? Like a quarter of a cow is a whole freezer. Like that's a lot of meat.
I was just talking to my buddy the other day. We should throw on a cow.
Yeah.
I think there is going to be food shortages, honestly.
There she is.
Okay, I can hear you.
Yay.
We're good. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. We're back.
All right, XRP Dad, your exciting thing.
What I was going to ask you, since we were like talking about aliens and stuff, do you think what do you think they're grooming us in for? Do you think they're going to do this Project Bluebeam that I keep reading about, or do you think we're actually going to see creatures, which in my opinion could be Nephilims?
That's what I think. I don't think that they're going to be aliens. I personally think that they're interdimensional beings.
Watchers?
And they're not going to fool me. The aliens. They're
I'm saying,
interdimensional.
but like fallen angels, like watchers?
Yeah.
Are they
Not
called watchers in Enoch?
Just like the days of Noah.
The books of Enoch speak of the watchers.
If we're in that time. I don't know if we're in that time. If I see them.
I feel like we are. Me personally.
Well, what is it? The demon face syndrome? Have y'all heard of that shit?
That, yeah, and I'm sure you heard of the politicians being lizard people.
Yeah,
They
well,
sound like
this is actually a thing. It's they put it out on the news and everything. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Oh, with the DNA, with the 23andMe, the whistleblower that there was like an internal search to see if there were cross hybrids.
Okay, y'all got to see this.
Like
I'm out for
that
myself.
one.
No. No, that's crazy too. There's so much crazy shit going on. Just wait.
You talk about the lizard people, the reptilians or whatever. Like, how many videos they have of people with like the eyes going, like alligators?
Dude,
like,
y'all are not gonna believe this. I've seen it. I've seen it on TV. Me, my mother, and my daughter. My grandmother always watches Matlock. I mean, well, she did. She's passed away now. She was 91 when she passed, so it's a long time ago. Anyways, she always watched Matlock, and we was up there and we was talking with her, and I'm watching Matlock, and it's the one with him with something Carradine. I can't remember his name. Something Carradine, the old Kung Fu 70s Kung Fu show guy. Anyways, they're playing guitar, and it goes to Matlock, and his damn eyes went to being slits, and it freaked me out. And I said, "Oh!" And I pointed at. I said, "Look! My mother looked, my daughter looked, and they all looked and seen it, and we were like, "What the fuck?" Now, was it a trick of the light? I don't know. It didn't look like it, but it could have been. Who the hell knows? But I'm telling you, it was freaky. We all got a straight shiver down us as soon as we seen it. Like, it could have been anything, guys, but I'm telling you, we all seen it. It wasn't like it was, but check this out. This is the demon face syndrome. So let me get back over there where I can do this.
A MacBook demon?
Yeah, that too. No, look, demon face syndrome, a rare neurological disorder.
No.
Your brain is your best friend until it decides to go rogue, and pretty much what happens with demon face syndrome, aka can't say this word, aka PMO. But it basically you see Most reports of demon face syndrome describe exaggerated, grotesque features, skin that looks like tree bark or potato skin, eyes that morph into geometric shapes, or entire faces that seem plasticky in texture. Some folks even report talking apple trees with faces and pointy ears.
What?
Dude, that's kind of freaky, man. Like, and this, we never heard of this before, and it come to be like out of nowhere, and they report about it on the news, and then you never hear about it again.
Remember,
I've never heard of that in my life.
So okay, very interesting. And this is like now advocacy time. And they're like, I know there's something, this is current events too, because there's a lot of conspiracy happening around the Clancy trial and the Perez Hilton. And so with that, however, there's something that's called autoimmune encephalitis. And what more people have it, it's very controversial within the normie mainstream medicine, but now it's becoming not so much. And there's a subset that kids can get called pandas. And what happens is they will start to behave like honestly, there are subtler signs. And so whenever your kids, like if they were just recently sick, and then you notice like there's physiological signs like dark circles underneath their eyes, dilated pupils, tics, anxiety, depression. If it gets bad enough, they get paranoia. I mean, OCD gets bad enough, you get hallucinations. Some people refrain from eating. And so a lot, I mean, think about all of these things that are actual diagnoses that literally, so what happens, PANDA stands for pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorder associated with strep. So you could get a and they've found that you can get a strep infection. That strep infection sets off your immune system. The immune system, for one way or another reason, starts to attack the basal ganglia area, the behavioral part of your brain. And literally, so Perez Hilton had cephalitis. He almost died of cephalitis a few weeks prior. And then, and I was watching him, and I mean, I was like, and because I can almost see it, I can see it now in people, and I can see it in kids, and it's so much more common. And they'll rage. They will throw, like your seemingly like normal sweet child will start to throw chairs at you, attack you. I'm telling you. And most of psychiatric patients have autoimmune encephalitis, and frontline workers and doctors will not know about it. They will literally kick you out of their offices sometimes. I'll say, do not say pans or pandas to them. Go in the back way. They all love COVID. Like, so say you've heard of long COVID. Long COVID is finally the medical industry recognizing that an illness can cause psychological changes in people. So this is also, if you guys are feeling anxious, depressed, you struggle with OCD, like even like schizophrenia, any of those things, you might actually be dealing with autoimmune encephalitis. And a lot of the people who are on these things are dealing with it. So
I think a lot of psychiatric problems and stuff, and agreeable, like a lot of this stuff, like you're talking about, just kind of goes. I think a lot of it goes with a lot of parasites and stuff that they don't pay attention to.
yeah,
And
heavy metals, toxins.
Well, if you look at parasites under a microscope and you think of demon, they look a lot alike. And it's funny that parasites can get inside of you. They can change your behavior, the way you look, everything. And so it's like, it's kind of a funny correlation. Not to say that it is an actual correlation, but it does go unchecked just like this. These are things that should be getting looked into more. We should be doing parasite cleanses as a nation. It should be required, or at least pushed upon, some type of free, something given out to do this. I know they'll never do this, but there are other countries that do actually do this.
We
You know
have
what
a
I mean?
population problem. Why would they want us to do that?
Get the hell out of here. Elon Musk said we got to have 2.6 kids per household. And I understand what he means.
We need room for all his robots too.
No,
Well,
we
okay.
don't want to need
And
people.
we don't know how many of them are coming. This world be funky in 10 years with all that shit, man.
I liked what you said though about the parasites literally looking like demon, but think about, so people, a conspiracy is we're living in a matrix. And in computer programming, if you're wanting to implant something, what do you call it? A virus. You're hijacking the system. So yeah, I'm sure.
Well, the
And if
thing is,
anyone who's ever had a tick, you know that those are straight from Satan. So
well, there's so much to correlate with so man-made comparative to God. And if you look at man-made stuff, it's like you said, it's computer type shit. Your cities, if you use a zoom out, look like a computer grid a lot of times.
Mhm.
But if you look at nature and what is of biological origin, it is the
Mhm.
tree of life, right? It's geometria.
Yep.
It's beautiful,
The
right?
flower
It's
of
not
life. Yeah.
conformed in blockish, right? It's flowing. It's beautiful. This is the difference. This is why when, like you said, viruses and stuff, this is man-made, in my opinion. A lot of this stuff, you know what I mean? It's the reason it has this tag. If you look up Henry, not to get super deep, but if you look up Henry Kissinger and a lot of his patents, and I'm not going to say what disease it is, but there's a patent with a molecular structure that is linked to a major disease, or disease that come out in the 80s that was very popular. That can't really. I'm not going to bring up on here. I'm not going to bring a bunch of shit onto our show like that. At least not without our discretional thing in the beginning. But look it up. Just look up Henry Kissinger. Look up that
So
type of stuff.
Kissinger was doing that? Is that the same Kissinger that did the? No. Are you
That
serious?
old dirty bug. I'm telling you, is he? Yeah.
Oh no, no, that rabbit hole just got
Kissinger.
so much
It makes
deeper.
sense, right? It
Dang
really
it.
does. I mean,
Now I know I'm gonna be doing the rest of the night. I'm
because
gonna do in the morning.
Oh no!
well, here's the
Poor
deal.
Brooke.
You can't be going down the whole, like, the problem is like there's so much shit happening in the Middle East and over in the UK at that certain time, and they wanted to get the view off of it. It was a good way to get everybody to look at a certain thing. Everybody get it's the same thing that happened with COVID and a lot of other stuff. They'll create a medical crisis when they can't deal with the war no more. They
Well,
shift
yeah.
it from health to war, from health to war, from pay attention.
All else felt so in these shifting cycles, like this is how it's off of monetary and debt reasons. Like when the debt gets too much and the disparity becomes too much, you get these social economic wars. And so you get these turning points. Oh shoot, where was I going with that? Oh my gosh.
They got you. They
No,
got your head.
I'm still no, you just blew my mind with Kissinger. So I so but oh well, the cyclically, like all of this like goes back to the fact that we are so indebted that it just the whole system collapses on itself. But there was something more pronounced I was going to say with that. I'm sorry. It'll come to me in the middle of someone else's sentence and I'll interrupt you. So,
Do you
Crypto.
think there's a possibility that we're going gold standard?
yes, that has been my thing. So I've been made fun of across the internet for this. Okay. And now I've been saying this for years, and I'm like, near, 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 like it's showing up in the headlines. And this is where stable coins also come in. And okay, and Ray Dalio, I'll just so if you read Ray Dalio book, How Countries Go Broke, and to give credit where credit's due, I didn't learn this from Ray Dalio. I learned this from Lynette Zhang. Go follow her. She is amazing. So, and this was years ago. I followed Lynette for years. But How Countries Go Broke, there's a very, like, he has phases, and there's 6 phases. And right now, of Ray Dalio's 6 phases, we're in phase 5. Phase 6 is whenever you go back to hard money, like gold back base money. And the bond, so in just recent news, we saw that Besant is buying back, possibly tapping a possible just under $1 trillion fund to buy back bonds. Well, what has to be backed 1-to-1 per the Genius Act? Stable coins have to be backed 1-to-1 with a bond. Okay, so now we have this gold narrative. A few weeks back, we had Rand Paul, who's a sound money guy. And we haven't audited, this is another conspiracy theory, we haven't audited Fort Knox in like since the 50s, like an actual like brick by brick audit. And I'm not exactly sure like how big of an audit that they've had. And it's been conspiracy, is the gold there or not? Well, a few weeks ago, they're like, oh, the gold's here. Okay, well, I would like to trust Rand Paul. That's great. Okay, but then you go and look at what price that gold is on our balance sheet, America's balance sheet at. And that is okay. So what is gold right now? Like 4,500, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just take a guess before you look. Look at me. Just take a guess. That's the market price.
No,
What do you?
look it up. I said I'm looking up. I was looking up gold from the UK. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. I'll just ask you, what do you think our balance sheet, the U.S. balance sheet of the Fort Knox gold inventory, what is it priced at?
I don't have a clue. Like I
Just
couldn't even throw a number
right
out.
now, market price is
40
over
trillion. 45 trillion.
No, okay. So it is priced at, like, last time I looked, it was $42.22.
You were way off.
I think I understood. I think I listened to the question wrong.
Now that's probably the price if we were to reprice gold because of our debt. So the price on our balance sheet of gold is sitting at $42.22. Now let's overlay some monetary history on top of this. In 1933, after the Great Depression, we had, 1921 debacle. This is another one of these these resets. So I think it was what president? Anyway, the president at the time in 1933 made it illegal to own gold, and he made U.S. citizens, under penalty of jail time, you had to sell back your gold to the government at the fair market value price. And then it was like at 20 some odd dollars. And overnight, they revalued gold up to like $35. So now we're in this debacle today. Our debt is at $40 trillion. Everyone likes to talk about the debt being at $40 trillion, and they never like go down and look at the unfunded liabilities, which is over $100 trillion. So needless to say, fiat currency is screwed. And they know this. So now if you overlay history right now, and then what's very interesting, if you listen to Trump, what is he calling all of these new initiatives that he's putting out? He's calling them the gold standard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maha, they have their gold standard that they're wanting to implement in healthcare.
Yeah.
They have this gold standard. Trump gave a golden gift at the 250th anniversary. Okay. this gold narrative is circulating. So what better time and what better prowess, honestly, than Trump for him to do like something Nixon did? He took us off the gold standard overnight on a temporary executive order. So, essentially, and we still run on that temporary executive order up to today. So, this could be an overnight thing where Trump comes, we're, repegging that. And plus we have bonds. So bonds right now, the reason why we're having to buy it back like we are, that's your fifth sign in Ray Dalio's, like, if your currency is crumbling, that's the phase you're in. That's what tells you, that's what checks that phase. Okay. So your next phase is now your fiat currencies start to collapse and you repeg it. So we'll always have something called the dollar. We just probably won't have the fiat dollar. But now, this time, we have tokenization of assets, which economically and there's physics to money. Like, this changes and upends so much that a lot of people don't fully appreciate or fully talk about from this angle. So yeah, I think it's a big possibility that we're already tokenizing gold on something called PaxG. Paxos is doing that for our government. So now, since we have tokenized assets, we don't even just have to use gold. We can now tokenize our land. We can tokenize a lot of things, put it on the balance book, revalue gold, which I think gold could be anywhere because of our debt. And depending on how we do that, $20,000. Like, that's my low estimate.
I
Um,
I was just saying earlier, I believe there is going to be a repricing in commodities all across the board here in the real near future, like gold, silver, wheat, oil, digital commodities. I think that's knocking on our doorstep.
Yeah. And so what does that essentially do? We talk about a shift, and a lot of people are chart people. I see charts. Crypto God has a chart up there. So in charts, we have charts and we have the same line that goes up and down here like this. And it's the same one. And so charting people, and I think a lot of traders and not a lot of macroeconomic people, and they have their heads in the charts, it's very hard for them to understand that sometimes in those charts and in economy and changing tech, that line shifts. And now you're on a completely different, like, playing field. So, you have a line, you have your trend line. Sometimes that line, it leaves it, and you're shifting and you're on a completely different trajectory, completely different road. And so that is truly what we are on every level. What level are we not on that? Like,
Yeah. I tell people all it takes is a big group, small group of powerful people in the room saying, like, this is going to be this price, this is going to be this price, this is going to be this price, and then that's what it is.
that was weird. Oh, okay. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it's wow, what a time to be alive, right?
Aliens and changing currencies and Epstein files and
Let's link the alien and the changing currencies right before, like, disclosure to all of these things. Look at the Bank of England. A official from the Bank of England, a memo was circulating within that place, and it said, if the U.S. comes out and discloses aliens, we need to have a financial plan on if it collapses the markets. Like,
Well, and,
they
and
will
And
they
the
will
U.S.
blame anything.
But the U.S. has been talking about the aliens and the file. Like, the big thing with me on this is that they talk about stuff over here, so that you're not looking over here, and we talk about that a lot on our show. But like, they'll disclose, alien files are being released, and this and that, or Epstein files are being released, and they do that because they don't want you to see what's happening over here. So I like that UK reference. that if the U.S. talks about aliens, we need to have a financial plan because yeah, they're trying to deflect from what's actually happening on the other side. And I feel
Because
like
they'll never blame the financial crisis on what it actually is to blame for. So
and it's
I
part of the
think
and it's part of the reason why I think like they hide Ripple in the back of all this stuff. Like they don't bring Ripple to the forefront ever because I think Ripple's so intertwined in what's happening in the back end and how it's going to fix things. Maybe not just with XRP, but with the XRP ledger, with RLUSD. Like I think they planning all this stuff and they put it all in the back. They put all these other people at the forefront. Coinbase, Robinhood, they Chainlink. They're talking to them all at the White House, but then Ripple, who's the big dog, is just hiding in the background. So
well, Trump had Brad Garlinghouse and Stuart Alderati on stage, brought them forward. So what's interesting is we heard Scott Bessent say that he's wanting to take us back to Hamiltonian economics. Want to know a conspiracy? Go look at the picture that Brad Garlinghouse, Stuart Alderati, and Donald Trump took a picture in front of during the White House. Oh,
Summit.
which one was it? Was it the summit? Uh-huh.
Henry's gonna find it.
the
Well,
I
no,
White
I
think
actually
it's
found something really
They-
interesting I've been looking for this whole damn time. Give me 1 second, XRP Dad, because I've been really looking. So I'm gonna share my screen really quick. You were talking about the Federal Reserves and them looking for the gold and them not finding the gold. You remember in the very beginning of the year they were talking about going and looking for it, and they stopped themselves, and then it wasn't a big deal. And this might have a reason why, because they talk about the gold wasn't there. Um, here's let me try and get it up here real quick. This is something that I heard and that I ended up looking up and found it to be true. So don't know who, but somebody's been moving a hell of a lot of gold into the U.S. January of this fucking year, or of
yeah.
2025. I'm sorry, in
Are you
2020.
looking at the COMEX? Yeah, I was watching that. And so central banks have been buying gold at record amount. And now, ooh, is that me? Now
Yes.
it's now it is being held in reserve much more than dollars, which is a good sign that uh the thing that props up the dollar is faith, hope, and trust, and a lot of pixie dust. When that trust goes, that pixie dust gets drained fast. So
But with all that gold coming back in and us talking about going to the gold standard, it just makes sense. It makes sense. It's like, we got to have it here, have something to base stuff off of. You know what I mean? You need to we were talking about with Jake earlier about cold wallets and, giving some custodial up to people that, you trust to do things, but, holding a little bit for yourself, holding that stuff tight because you've got to have it for it to have value. And truly, if somebody else has it, there's the often chance that there is no real value because it might not even be there. You know what I mean?
right.
You're trusting the word of somebody. Now, granted, Jake Claver and Dag is a little different. They're pretty good guys. But it was just a reference on how all this kind of works, getting stuff into people's hands and not really being yours, and getting that gold back into our reserves and back into our country makes that ours. Doesn't allow it to be attached to the 13 families. I believe 13 to
Yeah.
16, depending on who you talk to, who you listen to. Um, Getting it back to us, but even then, man, it's like trying to undo fishing string. You think you're starting to get somewhere, and it's still all knotted up 20 minutes later.
That's a good description of our financial system and how intertwined it is. And so once that tethers, I mean, you want to talk about destroying a sweater, that one string. Right now, at first, it's been a long, slow process. Honestly, I thought we would be in this position back in 2023 when people were calling me crazy. And I was just early. which, as you know, The Big Short says, equivalent to being wrong. But here we are. Um, and there's a lot that they have tried to do between that time to prop everything up. But there comes a time, I think I saw a picture that Jake had where he had the can, and it was like the Japanese, banker, and he's like, and he had the can under. He can't kick the can down the road anymore. Like, we're
Oh yeah.
having, yeah, we're having to pay the piper now, essentially, and that's what resets are made of. They will come and collect.
We had a good talk with him today about the collapse and about, and I hate to say it like that, collapse, because it's a very scary term, but
Mhm.
it's an extent to the truth. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to scare anybody, but definitely we are headed towards a change in our financial system. If nothing else, there's a change coming. We see it. It's happening.
Well, I was accused of being a fear monger for years. Okay. And I'm like, the opposite. They're prepared, aren't fearful. The prepared are prepared. I feel so made and ready for this time. I was made for such a time as this. Like, I have spent about 20 years of study that has led up to this time. I am not excited. Okay, this is where I'm like, I'm excited because whoo, I saw it, like, wow, to be on that. But my heart, and so academically too, in a very nerdy way, whenever you've called so much and like you start to like check it off, academically, it gets nerdy. But just like the movie The Big Short, where they just get done there with Brad Pitt and the two guys, because they saw it too, but they needed it in at the door. And so Brad Pitt gets them, these contracts, and they're like, yeah, and they're dancing. He's like, don't dance, He's like, you realize that when this happens, unemployment rate does this. So many people do that. Don't dance. So
Yeah.
that's also, and there's also another point in that movie where, they've seen this coming for so long, they've positioned themselves, and now they're laying on the couch. A lot of us have been in that laying on the couch period, and I think right now we're to that point in the movie where the guy sits like this news, like they're watching the news, and this, I think it's Bear Stearns that like starts to go belly up, and he like sits up and he's like, oh my gosh, it's happening, I gotta call my mom. Like, that's a little bit how it can kind of feel. So yeah.
We're in for some scary times, and
That's
the world is a
Oh, I
messed up.
can't hear him again.
uh,
No.
I'm
It,
trying.
he said we're in for some scary times. Ooh.
It is, and that's why one of the reasons why I created my platform and why I talk about what I did was so it didn't have to be such a scary time, that it could be, like I said, a time that, oh, I'm not scared, I'm prepared, and I'm here for my neighbor. And times are hard, but there's a lot of things that were lacking in that old world in technology. As much as we're connected, so much of us are apart. A lot of us don't even know our neighbors, much less what they do, much less if they need help. And so, what an opportunity to like Mr. Rogers, look for the helpers. Like, be a helper. Be a helper that people are going to look to in a time like that.
Before we get off of here, do you want to show that website that you had brought up to me? You want me to show that?
Oh, yeah. Go share that, because that gives credence to what I talk about when we talk about history, money, and what fiat debt-based money really does, and the true culprit of people's pain is truly a debt issue. So yeah, whenever you see, it's like chart after chart, and it's just that arrow shows you 1971, and so you can see where these charts start to
Yep.
depart from each other. You get hockey sticks. spreads widening. So it's and it's all different types of information. So it's just, yeah, we're here. It's a lot. It's a lot of info.
That's a pretty cool site.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
So-
definitely. Everybody look that one up. I'm gonna link that in the comment so that everybody can check that out. Is everybody
You guys-
voice okay? Can
you
everybody
guys-
hear?
Oh yeah. I'm just waiting. Like I've like talked
Yeah.
so much. I'm like,
Guys, we don't need
ooh.
dead space. Even if you just make noises, just fucking make noises. It's okay.
Well, I can keep talking. I just wanted an opportunity for
Do-
someone else.
Do you think there's any good scenario ending?
We're the good scenario ending. If we want this to be good, it's up to you. Is it? Is it? I'm determined that I'm going to try to make it.
I'm pretty optimistic about it. I actually think we're heading towards a pretty fun future. It
We can.
may be scary times before that, but I don't know. It sounds like I agree about the universal UBI. I think
Mhm.
that's coming 100%. But do you like Elon? Do you trust him, or do you think he's bad?
I don't.
It's hard to say.
He did walk around in a Batman outfit. I don't know, bro. I don't know if you've seen this. He was like, and he had his little devil suit on. I don't know. I'm saying, and he puts chips in your brains. But
So no one. Oh, sorry, you broke up. No one's good. No, it's called no one good. We're all human, and enough power. Like I think I want to think that he means well, but I don't know. I like Dolly Parton said, "I'm not a good enough person or a good enough Christian to criticize anyone." I do like, and I do. I really hope that these people change, but we can only change ourselves.
You ever hear his vision of universal basic?
Have I heard of what about universal basic income? Sorry.
Elon Musk's.
Hear Elon talk about it, like his vision.
Elon's breakdown of what it would be like, and that would be a good thing, not a bad
He
thing.
said like we would get like money every month, but the twist would be food, health, and housing would all be free.
Right. But then you think about equity in that and your housing being free. At what threshold is your house free? You know, do you, yeah. And so, but this is where we have to be careful because there's an aspect of UBI that is very good, but I own a farm. I'm a benevolent farm manager, right? But I also eat my cows. If there were something, cattle aren't the priority. I can be a very non-benevolent farmer. So you have to be like, we have to be careful with a UBI type of system because if they can give it to us, they can take it from us, and they can, yeah. So it's hard because humanitarily, do I believe everyone should have a roof over their head? Yes. Do I believe any child should go hungry? No. Do I, all of these things, but then we're faced with the matrix, and the powers that be and scarcity of things. So it's I UBI, I know that it's coming, but it partly gives me the fear of control, more than it does anything else. And also, this is where 15-minute cities come in. and AI. So, and I've had this conversation with city council members and ministers who were on city councils. And I said, if AI comes in and takes out a slew of jobs, you have a bunch of people, men, sitting at home doing nothing. They live, and okay, so I've been a stay at home mom and I love being a mom. Don't get me wrong, but going from corporate and career and having that mindset and doing that and then shifting, it's very hard. It's like, and so I think that a lot of people sitting at home doing nothing is very, very dangerous. So what better system than a 15-minute system than to control a bunch of people and incentivize a bunch of people sitting at home?
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with the 15 minutes.
So
But Elon, one thing Elon did say in that description, he said the money and the all the items like housing and all that won't be an issue. The big issue is going to be finding your purpose, because people rely on, like doctors, their purpose is saving lives. Cops say their purpose is arresting criminals. So when AI takes all this, people, that's what he said. People are going to have a hard time figuring out.
well, but that's also the key to the better world, and that shift I think is ugly. But think about if we didn't have to run the rat race. Think about if we didn't have to be so indebted. What would you do? I think a lot of people, and so we can talk about that the world is crumbling. Let's talk about how great of a world we have right now. Maybe it's a good thing it's crumbling. I would just like to have a say of how we build it back up, because the system that we have is definitely not working. Don't like it. Something needs to happen. But
Right.
how do we want it to look from there? And imagine a world where people truly were able to have the freedom to fulfill what they were truly meant to be. What would they create? What would, like, where would our world be if everyone followed their passion? So, like, God created it, and this is why I think so. It says that God created us in his image. He's a creator God. We are creators as well. I don't think that the other forces can create, hence as why they have to use us. And so we're engineers, we're creators. The world that we have today, someone in some form or fashion came up with in their head. So if as a collective, we all figured out in our own God given, gifted way that we step into our humanity and our purpose. And then we build the world from that, from our gifts, from our talents, and from our freedom. That's the world I want to live in.
Valid.
Great.
Love it. You probably make killer TikTok videos.
No, my content's garbage. I like to do live.
Do me a favor. Put your TikTok and your stuff, your links in the comments here, so anybody that's
Okay.
watching can go and follow you as well. Because I don't even, I follow you on X and stuff. I don't know why I don't follow you on TikTok, but I don't follow you on TikTok. I can't find you for some reason.
Yeah. X is so it's funny because I never really know how to interact with X, and I'm kind of suspicious I am undiagnosed autistic, but that's besides the point. So, like, X is a very strange space than TikTok. TikTok is so fun because I can at the same time see the comments, interact with them in real time. And so a lot of people, there's a community on the X space within the community, and then there's like a community that is formed like in, TikTok spaces and stuff. And the interaction is very weird. So and it's funny because I try to put out like ha-has, and where on TikTok people are like ha-ha. Like on X, it's like, and I
But
can't talk, I can't type in tone of voice and stuff. So I'd much rather do lives and stuff like that than content creation.
I want to share this little video with everybody. It's how America wants us to live, and it was I really like the way they did this. So let me get this pulled up. Pull you back here.
Oh, another day in the matrix. Let's go freshen up, sweetheart.
Starting off the morning with some fluoride for our toothpaste.
Aluminum for our deodorant.
Lights and endocrine receptors for my perfume.
And the same ingredients in automotive grease are in my hair gel.
Babe, I got our favorite for breakfast, Silly Putty Chicken.
Silly putty, isn't this just Chick-fil-A?
Well, one of the 55 ingredients in here is the same as Silly Putty.
Silly putty ingredient in the chicken? That's got.
Oh my God, what happened? I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, another day in the matrix. Grease are in my hair gel.
I'm so sorry. I bumped it.
Ingredients in here is the same as Silly Putty.
Silly putty ingredient in the chicken? That's gotta be toxic. Are they trying to poison us?
Babe,
Babe, snap our thing in the Matrix.
Silly putty chicken! Bill Gates must be proud, babe. All right, it's time to shackle into the corporate matrix for the day.
Gotta make sure the router's pointed directly at us.
Perfect, sweetheart. I'll make sure the laptop's directly on my ball sack.
And I'll have the AirPods radiating directly through my brain.
Perfect. Maximum EMF exposure for the next 8 hours, sweetheart.
And don't forget our energy sludge.
My favorite. Cheers to the matrix. Oh.
All right.
I am so mad at you, and I'm not gonna forgive you.
Oh, why? What did I do?
Because of our earbuds.
You ruined Chick-fil-A for me. I did not know that about Chick-fil-A. I guess I love Silly Putty. Silly Putty was divinely created. Like,
There's a clip of Jordan Peterson where he's in an interview and the woman says something, and he says something back, and he catches her really good, and she looks stunned, and he goes, "Gotcha."
yeah. Love that guy. He's like, gosh, you didn't think about that, did you, Brainiac? Man, send the asteroid. After that video, now I'm just like, when is that asteroid supposed to hit? Because I hope it hits right here. I'm like, Chick-fil-A? Really? Really, guys? I'm not okay.
I seen that earlier, and I was like, damn. I already knew that Chick-fil-A had some stuff in it that was bad. I didn't know it was Silly Putty.
Well,
so the Mission tortillas, right? Everybody likes the Mission brand tortilla shells that you make with burritos and stuff like that.
I don't like them.
It's a very common brand of burrito shells. It's called Mission.
Yes.
They use industrial whiting agent.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, and it's like I seen it. I went out to my cabinet. Damn, I threw it away.
Go to any white person, if they're saying they're having tacos at their house and they're white, more than likely you're getting a mission.
I have lugo tacos. I have beef tongue tacos. You don't know me. I'm from the South.
I don't do my tacos that way. So no mission taco. No, I'm very passionate about this topic, actually. I drive a good distance, or I used to get homemade tortillas. And I grew up in a town that was like 50% white and like 50% Hispanic. And so I grew up with a lot of abuelas, and that's like my second, it feels very close to me.
Real
tortilla. What?
Real Mexican.
I just said it feels very close to me.
So
I can't hear him.
What'd you say, Crypto, again?
Real Mexican tortillas.
Real Mexican tortillas.
She
That's
can't.
what he said. So
I can't.
my friend lived right across from a Mexican encampment. I did a lot of like concrete construction work with. I mean, we just had Mexicans around us at all times, and so they told us about this place, and we knew it was there because every Saturday night, my friend would say we'd have parties. He said, "Listen for the tuba music on the right and turn left," because it was just this big open thing, and then the trailer park, and so we would go down there drunk as hell. I mean, we've been drinking all night. And there's like 10 of us. And we wander down there to the little abuela's house, and she's got a porch that's bigger than her damn house. And she's serving tacos out on the porch, right? And she saw sauce verde, sauce rojo. And
Verde.
yeah, red or green. Right,
Verde. That's the right answer. Sorry, you didn't know that. Now you do.
I did. I've had them. But it's funny because you're like, ooh, it's steak. It is not steak. It's a cow tongue. A lot of them are cow tongue, but you wouldn't know. It tastes like tender steak. It's like delicious, absolutely delicious. Yeah, me hablo español.
Paquito, I cannot hear Crypto God.
Yeah,
I saw.
He's not really saying nothing, but we'll relay it if it comes down to it.
I'm sorry.
I'll be your translator, brother.
I can't either.
Oh, dude, that's so good. That was the next one over.
That's
like
hilarious.
We were like, the Clarity Act's gonna be passed, and that shit said okay.
Never happened.
Brooke, it did it on its own. We were talking before we recorded one day, and we were talking about the Clarity Act, and we were talking about passing in August or something, and his mask said okay, and we were like, I said, Joy, you get what I'm saying? He goes, I didn't do that. I said, what do you mean? He said, I got to do this, and he reaches up and touches the mask, and it goes through everything. None of his things say okay. He went through it all the way through. None of them say okay. And so it was like, but it does it whenever it wants to at random times.
It's the weirdest shit. Like you with Jake Claver today, right?
It did with Jake Claver today. Yeah. It liked Claver. I don't know. It's weird. The mask is funny.
It's an 8-ball. It's like, your literal.
I said he's our magic 8-ball. That's so funny you say that. I said that before.
We have the antenna. We're
get our answers.
Why am I the brunt of the joke right now?
Because
nobody can hear you but me.
And I can say all these fucking nasty things, and you can hear me, and only the people on the show can hear me, not them.
He said, why am I the butt of the joke around here? I said, because only I can hear you.
This is how you should do your show. He should be muted like all the time.
I'm just gonna start muting your ass, and you're gonna know it.
Yeah,
it's like it could be the equivalent. Did you guys ever watch Home Improvement and you never saw Wilson's face?
Yeah. Wilson, yeah. Well,
and you just have to relay it third person. Yeah, there you go.
He's trying to Morse code. He blinks his mask in a certain combination.
That is so funny. Oh my goodness, my phone's about to die.
None of them says, "Oh, you got to go." None of them says, "Yeah, we got to close it down anyways. It's 10:39." But none of them says, "Okay." You've seen it go through all of them, and not one of them says, "Okay." But it'll pop up "Okay" out of nowhere.
Huh?
It's weird.
Wild. That is, have you seen, so Enchance is just brought up, and if people want to go watch something that's really cool in their free time and kind of esoterical but scientific, anyway, the girl who played Amy Farrah Fowler in The Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
You know that she's a doctor in neuroscience.
She's really smart. Yeah.
Yeah, she has a podcast, and she had this polymath guy come on, and she asked him what his favorite number was, and he said it's 137, I believe is what they said. And that number it's in sacred geometry, and then some sort of other numerical or mathological way. It's the transition point between things, and really cool. But anyway, they ended that podcast at exactly an hour and 37 minutes. It was one of those, and so she comes from a very scientific background, and you can kind of see her go through, she has on very esoteric and free thinking type of people. So I find that podcast very interesting, her coming from a science background, meeting, more esoterical, conspirological type of people. And having that type of event happen during a podcast like that was so cool. So go check out that clip. That is awesome. All that to say, I don't believe in coincidences anymore. So
Well, what is it? Do you know who Pablo Cajolo is? Pablo Cajolo. He wrote The Alchemist, and I might have to send a link because I'm probably butchering the name. It's probably like super beautiful to say, and I am not saying it beautifully. But it's a wonderful book, and it's a book about this young man's experience as a shepherd, and he crosses into a different country. He follows this man that's supposed to be like an alchemist. Ends up being basically he sees that we have a path to walk, we have decisions to make, but it's like being in a current, and if you push against the current, it's going to cause you issues. You're going to flow down that river one way or another. You're either going to flow down it nicely, seeing where stuff is and being able to traverse it and get there safely, or you're going to wind up dead before you get to your real destination.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's decisions you make along the way. And he says it in a little bit different of a way. There's different parts, like he sees a rabbit running across the desert, and they had released their falcon, and he didn't even know the falcon was in the air, and the falcon come down and hit the rabbit right in front of him, and all he could think was like he could be the rabbit. It's by God's grace that he's born who he is and gets to live the path he gets to live. It's by grace that he's here, and that he gets to live. It's an amazing book. I would recommend it to anybody. Like, it's a short read. It's not a long read, but it's got a lot of powerful messages in it. Absolutely.
That would be I love how he calls it The Alchemist and alchemy, and we should come on and talk about like the sacred geometry and alchemy, like actual, because there's a reason why we have a secular education, and it's that's
spelling,
been
like Jake said earlier, spelling. There's a reason it's called spelling. There's a point to do that. Like, he didn't get deep on it. You can tell he like he was wanting to say a little bit, but he's like, no matter what, you manifest what you manifest, and there's a point to this, but there's absolutely a big point to it. Yeah. And there's a reason reason our language is so close to, oh my God, it's an older witchcraft language.
Yeah.
But it's a reason that our language is so aligned with it, because it was used for spells.
Yeah, and think about, so Coach JV, like, he's the one who enlightened me on these terms, and he was like, they tell you television, programming, channeling, like literally, I mean, it's very real.
Hollywood, the same thing that the witches used to use to cast spells, a piece of holly wood.
And we all know. Well, I flew out there, so I was in the Rig from the Start documentary, and Chris and Maya are good friends of mine, and went out to LA, and that felt like, oh man, they have some issues.
Vegas and New York really gave me a different perspective on life. I was very sheltered to that kind of stuff. I was around a lot of drugs and stuff. Don't take me wrong. Like, I have two cousins that died basically from drugs. Not to throw my business out there, and maybe I shouldn't have, but nevertheless, I had family members that were very close to me that died from methamphetamines. You can say the way they died exactly wasn't drugs, but it was attributed to the drug that they were doing that this happened.
Yeah.
And and so I was around stuff like that, but never around where you walked around and you're stepping over homeless. Vegas was a crazy wake up for me. I mean, I had never seen people screaming in different languages at statues. You know what I mean? Standing in the water, screaming, holding the
Yeah.
Bible down, is hollering, and clothes half on them. You seen it'd be like 40 degrees out, 30 something, 40 degrees out. Their pants are hanging off their ass. They're sleeping cuddled up just in the middle of the damn walkway. And it was
Yeah.
like, what in the world is going on here in New York? You know, down in Manhattan, the trash was taller than you were. You know what I mean? There was bums laying around, piss and other stuff all over the street.
Mm.
Not all over, but in certain areas, of course, especially in these
Yeah.
like rural construction zones where they can kind of get behind the plywood and the barrels and
Yeah.
stuff. But hell, you know, women and kids got to walk through that area to get to places. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? That's not fair.
But that's the thing too now
No.
though, is like in
No.
Canada now,
And
like
it's debt
every major
slavery.
city,
Oh.
she can't hear me. Every
Yeah, hold
major
on,
city,
bro.
every major city has like these tent cities. Like there's huge parks that are just tents. So like you drive through a major area in a city in Canada now, and there's tents everywhere.
All right,
So
I want
and
to
it's
hear what
crazy
he
for your
said.
kids to see it.
He said that that everywhere you're starting to see these tent cities. In Canada, you're starting to see them a lot pop up. These huge tent cities, and we see them here too.
Yep.
Where do you mostly see them in Canada, Crypto?
In like the big cities. So like
Big-
Calgary has them in the big parks. Edmonton has them. You don't see them in the smaller areas. Like the homeless people will go like you'll see kind of find a couple homeless people in the smaller cities, but in the big cities, that's where the tent cities are. Like they've taken over downtown Edmonton and Calgary. It's crazy.
Couple homeless in the outskirts, but most of them in the city,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes sense. You know, we had an issue. I live in the country. We had an issue with the homeless because Augusta's not far from us,
Mm-hmm.
Augusta, Georgia, and so you know they would wander basically into our cities, and so we'd have where they get bussed into these big cities, and that's what was happening. They were getting bussed in, and then they would just throw up a tent city in the middle of downtown, and then you'd have them wander into the other cities, and they'd find little inlets in between buildings that had like trees and stuff that they could hide up in. You know what I mean? Come out, pedal during the day, and then come throw their tent in between these little buildings and these little bits of woods. And we were actually rewiring the place. And the guy come up, he said, "Look, y'all have a pistol? Y'all keep a pistol on you?" And we're like, "Well, yeah, but why?" And they're like, "Well, we've had a homeless problem." We're like, "Here?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Yeah, here, out here
Mm-hmm.
in our woods. We were up putting up the fence, and dude come out the woods with a machete."
Yeah.
You know what
We
I mean?
have.
Like crazy as
Yeah.
hell. Like this isn't your property. Who the hell are you coming at with a machete on my property? What is wrong with you? Like, please put down that thing before I have to shoot you, dude. What is wrong with you? Like, this is not
Yes.
that. This is not San Francisco. People aren't going to call, you know, the social services to come talk to your ass. It's going to be pew pew, and then we'll call somebody to handle it because we're not going to get hurt because you're an idiot. You know.
Right. It kind of, I feel like we went from like, my friend just had an 80s birthday party. I mean, the 80s and 90s. And do you remember the movie with Brandon Fraser in it, Blast from the Past?
Oh yeah.
And he
That's
gets out and he's like, that's what I feel like. It kind of like transitioned into, and we're like, every time I live out on a farm rural, and then it's like every time I like go to Vegas, go to LA, I'm like, oh, got some problems.
you know, when I'm watching these things on YouTube and stuff, it's real. I didn't know it's real, but it's real.
And
It's
then
a cold.
those are the places that don't let you like come packing. And so like I found myself like here in Oklahoma, we are very much pro open carry. And so I'm like running around sometimes in Las Vegas, like I always have a guy with me so I can like jump, like you know, like
me.
throw the pin. Because and there was times that I did, like I would like walk fast and like get on the other side of someone, not to be rude, but I just when you're not, they don't give you the ability to that disparity, physical disparity. So
Yeah, it's real. It's a real thing, and you're not a huge woman. You're
well, we'll
short,
work
short.
out.
Oh no, you got the. I'm not talking about guns.
Okay.
Well, guys, we are almost at 2 hours. We normally do
Okay.
about an hour and a half. This has went over. It's been a ton of fun though. Like we really got into a lot of like really fun things. Like this is the kind of shit I really like to get into, guys. Y'all don't even understand. I have been down this hole so far that I literally had to like take myself out of it and be like, don't even look. Don't even look.
Yeah.
I know it's coming up on your feed. Don't look.
Yes.
Because you get sucked into it so easy. But it's fun to talk about, and as long as you don't allow yourself to get taken in, anybody that's listening, it's okay to look into it. Don't let it overcome your life. You've got to live your life. Your life is more important than being scared of other things. 100%.
The prepared aren't scared. So
And there you go. There you go. There's something to take with y'all guys. And with that, I will say to my co-host, thank y'all so much for coming back in, and our special guest, the Princess of Tenfold. Thank you again. We very much appreciated you coming in and sharing all the wisdom. Yes, hats off to you. Hats off to you. The role and all this. But yeah, it was so much information, so much knowledge inside of a space that not everybody dwells into, and is very much related to everything we do in the crypto space. One of the reasons I think a lot of us fall into conspiracies after getting into crypto. But thank you, Brooke,
thank
and
you.
and everybody that's watching. Oh, I forgot to throw up the thing, but so everybody that's watching, thank you so much for coming out, and we will see you again next time. Have a good one, guys.